I'm Jumoc-Casas, Jumoc-Casas, and while my wife doesn't agree that I'm from San Francisco, I was born there. I did reside in Daly City for the most part of my life. But when people ask where I'm from, they probably don't know where Daly City is, so I just say San Francisco. I'm the result of informal education in the photography and cinematography space because ever since I did not get into Mr. Guzio's class in high school, Photography 101, I ended up relying on internet forums, magazines, and books to learn basically everything that I know now. I'm a portrait photographer first, and then got into video a bit later, since I was able to transfer my knowledge in lighting into motion. I'm also a gearhead, so getting gear really wasn't that hard. I ended up buying a little bit too much of equipment. However, in the past few years, I was able to hone my style and pack all my essentials in luggage bags. My carry-on carries my camera, and while my check-in is 70 to 90 pounds, it is a full kit. Plus, it's leg day basically when I'm able to load it in and out of the car. I got involved in the creative industry because in 2002, I discovered my mom's film Pentax K1000. I shot a few rolls on it and I started to learn more on film. When my classmates started to throw teen club parties, he asked me if I can photograph it and record it. So that's when I first bought my digital camera. My first digital camera was a 2 megapixel Nikon 2100. A 96 megabyte card back then as well was $97, so almost $1 per megabyte. I got paid pretty well in these teen club parties, so I upgraded each time I got a chance to do so. For some reason, I stuck with Minolta, so I got the Dimage A1, upgraded to my first DSLR, which was a 7D. And as far as video, I was recording using my High 8 Sony recorder. No DV tapes back then, at least for me when I started, and that meant also Firewire 400. So in high school, this is when I created my first company, Gene Productions. It's a little cheesy because the name is comprised of my initial and also 3 other initials of my friends. And for those who went to these teen club parties, you knew that the shortest way to get in, because the lines were always so long, about, 100 people deep, you just had to carry a bag and be part of our crew, and that way you can just cut the line quickly. Since I was focused in photography, I also created jcasasphotography, which I pretty much still continue today. Despite studying and graduating in nursing in college, I still continued photography and video and focused on weddings and events, creating motion scope. In 2013, I focused more on the commercial side and started my other business called 845. With 845, I built up a pretty good following with our crowdfunding clients, people who are using Kickstarter and Indiegogo. Our biggest one to date was over 3 million. In 2018, I got the opportunity to work with Twitter, launching their series Behind the Tweets. And I got that opportunity because one of my good friends who I started MotionScope with ended up being the head of content with Twitter. In that same year, in 2018, he recommended me to Jared of Fresh Tape, who was looking for a small crew to cover the MLB All-Star Game in Tokyo. There's a bunch of people in the creative world who has inspired me, but one person for sure who has influenced my photography alone is Annie Lebovitz. Another photographer that I really look up to is Art Strieber. Definitely follow him on Instagram. My future plans? Dad vlogger.
Dear Karen Ray, we got you a Duna!
On May 3rd, 2020, our daughter Karen Ray was born, and we started a YouTube channel called Dear Karen Ray. I do have 2 short docs that I'm currently working on, and both are in post-production, but a dream client or project for me is just being able to work on something that creates any change for the better through photography and or video. My advice has always been the same throughout the years. For someone who is starting out, I always ask them, do you want to get better at this or do you want to make money off of it? If you want to get better at it, there's just so much resources now that you have to have the drive to basically learn on your own every day, every time. If you want to make money off your craft, you got to get better at business. Be able to write better, be able to talk better, be persuasive, be honest in your capabilities, but also confident that you can deliver what you're promising. And when you do get that job, be helpful any way you can, no matter what you're paid to do. I once placed a stool for a presidential candidate, knowing that he was about to put his coffee cup on the floor, and I prevented that. And yes, I was hired to light and set cameras for the shoot. I'm JJ Jumoc-Casas, and thank you Fresh Tape for having me. And thank you for listening to this episode of Creator Tapes.